I brought my book outside and I want to read at sunset. It is so beautiful out. I wish, well, I guess I could show you in literally 2 seconds. But I decided to read this book because it's been on my TBR for a while. And by a while, I honestly mean like a very short time because this book just came out. But I thought I would read it the day it came out, and then just like other books came up that I wanted to read that were also released, like Curvy Girl Summer and just like so many other books. So I am gonna read this now. I don't know if you guys can hear that, all of the bugs outside. That is just such a relaxing sound to me, so I'm gonna turn on some music and like sit out here while I listen to all of the little bugs and the sounds of summer. I read for a little over half an hour yesterday and got about 40 pages into this, and I feel like it is starting off really good. I will say there isn't as much dialogue as I would want, but it definitely is giving like a very quotable book. It's gonna have a lot of like deeper themes outside of the romance, but immediately I'm hooked into the romance because she ends up meeting the guy that is like the like male main character at a dog park. So like already I'm like obsessed because he loves dogs. Also, I did not realize that literally in the second page of this, she starts talking about grief, and she also is talking about like her struggles in her marriage, and like immediately you see that they are like getting separated, and so she's already going through a really tough time the minute that this book starts. So I feel like you do get hooked in really easily. She does kind of have like a mundane life, but I feel like the author's trying to build up to show that like maybe there's more to life than like, you know, what she feels is important right now. Like, I don't know, I just feel like there's deeper themes coming with this. So again, 40 pages in, but really loving it. I ended up getting a package, and this is from Our Town Books. If you guys don't know, I love buying books from independent bookstores. A lot of the time I'll buy books from independent bookstores on bookshop.org. So I'm gonna do a little book haul. I actually ended up buying this when I went to the store and they didn't have the copy of this book. So I was just like, well, can we just order it and have it be sent to my house? And she was like, sure. And the book that I ended up buying is the third book in the Housemaid series. I love Freida McFadden's books so much, and this is The Housemaid Watching. It just came out. I'm really excited to read it. It says, my past is far, far behind us, and I'll do anything to keep it that way. I used to clean other people's houses, now I have one of my own. The charming kitchen, the quiet cul-de-sac, the huge yard where my kids play. My husband and I worked so hard for this life. When our new neighbor invites us to dinner, a maid opens the door. Looking at her white apron and neat hair is like looking into the mirror. I know exactly what it's like to be in her shoes, but her cold stare gives me chills. That's not the only strange thing here. I'm sure I see a shadowy figure watching us. My husband leaves the house late at night, and one woman's words chill me to the bone. Be careful of your neighbors. I thought I left my darkest secrets behind, but could this quiet street be the most dangerous place of all? How far can one woman go to protect the life she so carefully built for herself? The Housemaid returns in this pulse-pounding roller coaster of a thriller from New York Times bestselling author Freida McFadden. I cannot wait to read this. So freaking excited. And it is wild to me that she still has 2 more books coming out this year. At least one of you guys said that there's a second book. I know for sure The Boyfriend comes out in October, which I am really excited to read. I will say the Housemaid series is not my favorite of the books that she's written. I feel like I really loved Never Lie by her, and I also really loved The Teacher. And I like The Housemaid, but whenever I recommend Freida McFadden books, I usually recommend Never Lie first before The Housemaid. Because The Housemaid's good, but I just feel like it takes a little bit. It's more of a build up to get to like what happens at the end versus like a quick start, which I feel like most of her books are. But again, she is such a great thriller author. I feel like she hooks you immediately, and I feel like this is gonna be a really good book. This is also, I think, one of her maybe longer ones, because this is almost 400 pages, and I feel like most of her books are like maybe 350. So it'll be interesting to see how I enjoy this one. I'm thinking about doing a video that's like reading all thrillers, because I have been running out of thrillers for my besties at the gym. I got so many of the girlies at my gym to start reading, and they've been just literally gobbling up books. And Polly, who she works out at the gym with me, she's incredible. She's like 60, 61, like literally crushing it. Like she's using like big weights and like everything. Like I am so inspired by her. But she's a big reader. She's retired. So she's always like, do you have more books? And I gave her 4 books on, I think it was Thursday. And I was literally like, I don't know if there's any more thrillers that I have left to give her. So I want to read like maybe 3 or 4. So that way the next time she asks me for books, because she reads so fast, but she only reads thrillers. Like she doesn't really read anything else. So whenever she asks for more books, I can be like, here you go. Here's like 3 or 4 more. Because genuinely, like they have eaten me out of house and home for books. So I might do like a thriller video coming soon, or maybe I'll read some thrillers in this video. I'm not really sure. But we're getting ready to head out to go to Chicago area, and we're gonna go celebrate our friend. He's opening a gym, and it's like, again, been a huge dream of his. So we're gonna go do that, and then we're celebrating our anniversary on Sunday. So it should be really fun. I'm not really sure what we're gonna get up to, but I am excited for you guys to come with us. Look at me, what's new? I'm in a hotel. I just feel like every time I hop on the camera, at some point I'm out of town. We went to our friend's grand opening of his gym yesterday. If you guys live like near Chicago or like Thornton, Illinois, definitely go to my friend's gym. If you guys don't know, I actually did not used to like work out like at all. And whenever I first started wanting to work out, I would ask my friend David, who owns this gym. It's like Brady's best friend. He was like one of his groomsmen at his wedding. I would ask him for like workouts, and he would send me like these little monthly like detailed workouts. And that's what first got me into working out, because I did not have any idea what to do in the gym. I used to, like when I was in college, I would just like run on the treadmill, or I would like run on the little track. I didn't even know what to do with weights. And so he would send me like, do this much of this and do this much of that. And so that's really what got me into the gym. And he's a personal trainer, and he like went to school for like health, wellness, fitness, whatever, like I think health science. But yeah, so like he really loves what he does. And if you guys live in the area, definitely go to his gym. It's just incredible. If I like lived in the area, I would definitely go and support him too. But we went there yesterday, and then we watched the game, or not the game, you can tell I wasn't watching. We watched the fights, like boxing, UFC, whatever fights, and y'all, these men were just salivating over these fights. Like they were having the time of their lives, and they'd be like, oh, he hit him so good, and I'm just like, literally just like straight in my book, not paying attention at all. I did end up falling asleep for 2 hours, like because the game, or the fight ended up going until like a little after midnight. And y'all know I go to bed at like 9:30 every night, so I definitely was out. But I did end up reading to like almost at page 100. I'm at page 90, 91. It was definitely hard to read because there was so much noise. Like guys are so loud when they watch like games or anything. But I did end up reading, and I'm enjoying it so far. I definitely think that Same Time Next Summer is more my favorite so far. I could definitely change my mind, but I feel like when I get to page 100 of a book, I almost always know what I'm gonna rate it by the end. And this is enjoyable, but it still isn't giving me that like 4.5 5-star type of read. I love her books because I feel like she usually has quirky characters. The characters are usually very likable because they're so different, and they usually are trying to figure out how to navigate the world, which I feel like so many of us can relate to. But I wish there was a little bit more dialogue in this. It's very much like heavy on her thoughts and like how she feels about things that are happening to her, and less about like the dialogue that's happening within the moments that are happening in her life, if that makes sense. But again, still really enjoyable. This is one of my most anticipated reads of the year because I enjoyed Same Time Next Summer and Nora Goes Off the Script so much. But I'm gonna read this, and I was actually just thinking, because it's the last day of the month, and by the time you guys see this, it'll obviously be July, but it's the last day of June, and I was thinking about how like this will probably be the first month that I like don't read like 15, 16, 17 books. And I was like, what is the variable here? And it's genuinely, I have not done like a 24-hour reading challenge this month, and this is the first month I haven't done one in a while. So if you're someone who maybe you don't like read a ton, or like you haven't been able to like sit down and get the time to read, try a 24-hour reading challenge, even if it's not like overnight, because that's not usually what I do. I usually will do 24 hours just like in a span of a week or something, and see how much I could read in that time. But I swear, reading with a timer makes me so much more intentional about like when I'm reading and making time to read, because I'm not going to start a timer for 15 minutes. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to start a timer and read. Like, so I usually end up finishing like 4 to 6 books, depending on like the length of the books during 24-hour reading challenges. And like this month I did not do that. So it'll be interesting to see like how many books I end up reading this month. But I have had some really good ones, and obviously this vlog is going to go through July. So you guys will get to see some of the books that I read in July too, not just in June. So yeah, reading this, enjoying it. It's cute. It is Brady and my like 6-year wedding anniversary today, so we're gonna go do something fun, and we're gonna head back home. We have to drop off Brady's good friend Lee, who he came in town this weekend. And I was just thinking about how like I'm so grateful for my friends, but I'm also so grateful for Brady's friends, because like they've been in both of our lives for years. Like Brady and I, we got together when we were 19, but we were friends prior to getting together. So like all of our freshman year in college and part of our sophomore year in college, we were genuinely like just friends, like not interested in each other or anything, like straight just friends. And so like I got to meet Lee, I got to meet like David, I got to meet all of these people in his life, and he got to meet all of my closest friends too, and we got close with them outside of like a relationship. So it's really cool, like whenever I see like Lee or David, like, oh hey sis, it's like, well, I've known them since like 2010 and it's 2024, so it's like really cool to hang out with them. But also it's cool to see them like come together for big moments like this. Like Lee lives in San Antonio, and he flew in and he wanted to be at David's like grand opening of his gym, and like that's just so cool to see like friends that you've had for a long time who still are like very involved in your life and supporting each other. And like David's married now, and he has like kids and stuff. And I don't know, we're all in different stages of the life, but we still all find a way to get together. So I'm going to read a little bit more of this. We're going to head back home, and I will give you guys a little update whenever I get back. I'm ready to head inside to go do something with Brady, but I have no idea what it is. Brady planned something for our anniversary. He's like, it's nothing like big. It's not a big deal, like, but hopefully you'll like it. I'm really excited. He just has the best gifts for our anniversary. Like every single year, I'm always just like absolutely blown away. So, yeah, again, I have no idea what we're gonna be doing. So, he just told me to wait in the car so he could like make sure everything is ready. He's so good with gifts. Like we're an hour outside of our town, and he said he could only like do this thing here. So we'll see what it is. I will say this is a cute little town. I don't know if you guys can even like really see. I feel like I need to come up here more often. It is very, very cute. It's giving like hometown, small town vibes for sure. Walking in the movie theater, I was like, okay, we're probably gonna go see a movie, but I also don't really like have any movies in mind that I can think of right off the bat that I want to see. And my wedding video literally starts playing on the movie screen, and I was just like 6 years of marriage and 12 years together total. I still am surprised so much by this man. Like I genuinely always say that I will never like have a book boyfriend. My husband is literally better than any book boyfriend that someone could like make up. After our wedding video was over in this private movie theater, we got to watch my favorite movie, which is A Walk to Remember, and I literally cry every single time I watch this movie. When I was younger, I would always watch romances like this and be like, oh my gosh, this is so beautiful. I hope I have a love like this. And then I think I got into like high school, and I felt like this was just like not gonna happen for me. Like it only happened in the movies, but I'm here to say that you can have a love like this in real life, and so hold out for it, because I promise you, you can find a love like this in real life.
Maybe you inspire me.
Sounds like full.
Which part?
All of it.
No, it's not.
Prove it.
So sweet. I always cry watching A Walk to Remember. I feel like you've seen me cry watching that movie like 100 times. That's a good gift though. Love you. That was such a special gift. I still can't get over it, and I don't think I ever will. I feel like Brady's gifts are truly 10 out of 10. Like they're always the best. He obviously, as you guys could see, he took me to a movie theater, and he had like the movie theater was just like us in it, and we got to watch our wedding video from the day that we got married, and then we also watched my favorite romance, which is A Walk to Remember. Still haven't read that book, but I definitely want to, because it's definitely one of the like best romances that I think I've ever seen, and I will always cry every single time that I watch it, which is very rare for me, especially if I've already seen a movie before. But I was literally swooning the whole time. And then I have this book that he like made for me 2 years ago, where it's like a notebook, and every year he writes like how our year went, how we're feeling about the year, like how life is going. So he like wrote in that, and I got to read like 2 pages of that. He is just so thoughtful, intentional, and I feel so grateful. I actually made like a little video on TikTok and Instagram sharing how like in high school I always felt like I would never find this type of love. Like when I was really young, like elementary school, like middle school, whatever, I was always like so like, I've always been a hopeless romantic, and I always had very high hopes for the person that I would be with. And then I got into high school and I was like, maybe this isn't gonna happen for me. Like maybe I'm not gonna end up with someone who's gonna be like loving me the way that I feel that I deserve. I'm gonna settle for something less. And I can say that I definitely am getting the love that I've always dreamed of. And if you're not in a relationship where you feel like you're getting that, definitely hold out for it, because it is definitely there. Decided to come out at sunset and start Dear Vicky by Octavia Grant. I've just been in a mood for these types of books, and I'm not super far into it. I'm only on page 11, but I also am reading Summer Romance. This book is really good. I wanted to read this one because I just feel like I'm in the mood for something that's like quick and fun, and I feel like her books are always like that. It is already starting off so wild. Like I can't even explain how wild it is. Like it's about a guy, he like bags groceries at a grocery store, and while he's bagging the groceries he like sees a girl, and he like pretty much becomes like obsessed with her. And I don't really know what happens because obviously I'm only 11 pages in, but the things that are coming out of this man's mouth, like he's like just, I'm like, what is going on? Like why are you thinking these things? Like the girl that he like has his eyes on was on the phone, and he's like, who's making her smile? Like, and he's like started getting mad. And then whenever she said mom, he's like, okay, I guess that's fine, because like it's her mom, but like no one needs to be making my Vicky smile. And it's like, you guys haven't even met, like you're just bagging her groceries. Like, and what's wild is there are people like this in the world, like people that are that like just wild. So her books are always really crazy, and I'm really excited to get into this one. It's only, I think it's only like 100, no, it's not even 100 pages. It's only 81 pages, so I feel like I'm gonna finish this really fast. The curls are back, as you guys can see. I always feel like I get a little like insecure whenever I go from like braids to curls, and I'm gonna have my curls back in for a while. Like I might put braids back in for my birthday in like a month or so, but like I'm not really sure. But I feel like it gives the same vibe of like when you wear makeup for a week and then you take off your makeup. Like your natural beauty is incredible, like it's beautiful, but you have to almost train your brain to like believe that it is. So I'm kind of in that little era right now, because I just took out my braids like yesterday, and I definitely am reminding myself that my curly hair is beautiful, that short hair is beautiful, that texture is beautiful, and all the things. But again, I do love my curls, and it does feel good to have them back. I'm outside the library. I'm getting ready to drop off my library books. I got these literally forever ago, and this is one of the great things about libraries. Most libraries these days don't have like late fees anymore. Like I've gotten probably 4 or 5 texts that are like, your library books are almost due, your library books are almost due, as like a little reminder, but like you don't have to pay a late fee, and it's so nice. I didn't read either of these books, which is also another thing that is so nice about the library, because if I don't read it, then I just take it back and whatever. But I did end up buying this book, The Four Winds, because I feel like I'm gonna need a little bit more time with it. Like it's thick, and I feel like I've already told you guys over on Instagram stories about how thick books have been so daunting to me. Like I've been reading Keeping 13, I've been reading Demon's Dream by Elle Kaysen and Keeping 13's by Chloe Walsh, and there's something about it. I just feel so intimidated because they're thick. But I did start reading on my Kindle Scribe, and that has helped me a lot. So if you guys are wanting to like get into reading thick books, definitely read on a Kindle, because I feel like not seeing the end makes me feel like it's a little less daunting. I also have Not Bad for a Girl. This is a cute little fluffy rom-com. Again, I'm taking it back because I have not read it yet, but this is the first time that I've been to the library and not finished one of my library books. Like I usually finish at least one. And it's nice that I kind of only brought out 2, and I think it's because I kind of knew like I was going to be traveling a lot. Like we have been all over the world this past like month. Been in New York City, I'm going to Chicago this weekend. I was in Chicago last weekend, like well actually in this vlog, like the Chicago area. And I also where did I go? I went somewhere before New York City. I can't even remember. Literally like my brain is just so like fried from being gone so much. But whenever I leave town, I do not like to bring my library books with me, because I always feel like something could happen to them and I just don't want to be that person, you know, that like messes up the library books. I was in St. Louis for my friend's wedding, and then right before or right after that I was in California for a wedding, so as you guys could see from all the vlogs. So I've been traveling a lot, so obviously I didn't bring these with me. Again, this is the first time that I think I have not finished a library book. Like I finished Pride and Protest, I finished Guy's Girl, and I think there was one more that I've got like from the library in recent month that I can remember, but like I can't remember. I don't know why I said I can't remember, because I literally can't. But I've been trying to go to the library once a month, and you guys have been loving the library vlog. So let me know if you guys want another cozy library vlog. I feel like those are so fun to just show like what's in the library. Now I'm going to give you guys like a little peek while we're in here. I'm going to drop these off and then we're going to go look, see what they have. I don't know if I'm going to bring anything home. It just depends on if anything really grabs me. But I feel like I always find books at the library that I don't see in like Barnes or other bookstores, and I always end up really excited about it. So we might end up bringing something home. We will see. I swear this happens every single time that I come into the library. I don't plan on getting books, and then I end up seeing something that I'm like, I kind of want to get it. So One of Us Knows by Alyssa Cole is a thriller by a Black author that like so many people have raved about. I think her book None of Us Is Watching, I think that's what it's called. So many people have said that it's like really good, and it's on my TBR. Like I really want to read it. This says years after a breakdown and diagnosis of dissociative identity disorder derailed her historical preservationist career, Kenitra Nash and her alters have been given a second chance they can't refuse, a position as resident caretaker of a historic home. It sounds creepy already. Having been dormant for years, Ken has no idea what led them to this isolated Hudson River island, but she's determined not to ruin the opportunity. Then a surprise visit from the Home's Conservation Trust, just as a nor'easter bears down the island, disrupts her newfound life, leaving Ken trapped with a group of possibly dangerous strangers, including the man who brought her life tumbling down years earlier. When he turns up dead, Ken is the prime suspect. Caught in a web of secrets and a race against time, Ken and her alters must band together to prove their innocence and discover the truth of the Kavanaugh Island and their own past, or they risk losing not only their future, but their life. I feel like I can't leave this here. Like, this looks so good. Another book that looks really good is this one, My Heart Beats. I feel like I always find books that like look so good that I have never heard of before. And this says, some days I can almost see the person I used to be, see the version of myself that felt joy, even passion, but she's gone, just out of reach. Life moves on for everyone else though, and as my best friend's maid of honor, I have a bachelorette party to plan in Jamaica, no less. That means working side by side with the best man, Benjamin Black. Billionaire, workaholic, ultimate bachelor, the perfect catch for any woman unless she's lost her sense of self. I feel like anytime I read anything that's like billionaire or like they're a billionaire, I immediately want to like read it, and I feel like I need to bring that book home too. Okay, I found another book that looks good that I've literally never heard of, and that literally happens to me every single time I'm in the library. This is called Man's Best Friend, and this is about a girl who's like always wanted to be rich. Like that's like always been her life goal, and I think she meets this guy who's like super rich, so she gives up like all her friends, her apartment and everything, and then I think she finds like a a body or something. It says, when a series of disturbing and slightly surreal events reveal that Bryce is not quite who he seems, Elle must face the consequences of Bryce's darkness and her own are unleashed. Looks so good. I am literally speechless every single time that I'm in here. I ended up getting one book, and I ended up getting Swift and Saddled. I think I talked about this whenever I did my last vlog whenever I was in New York City, about how like I wasn't obsessed with Done and Dusted. It was just kind of like mid for me. But I've been wanting to read this one because the new one comes out in the fall, and I always feel like I like to give authors like a little chance to kind of like bring me back in with the writing. I feel that with Done and Dusted being Layla Sage's first book, it could definitely like, I don't know, just grow a lot in the writing and stuff as she continues to write more books. I also feel like her writing is just like very, it's not like heavy, like it's very, very just, you know, it's not really hard to read, I'll say that. But the story like is definitely interesting to me, so I'll read the back. It says, she's a city girl who refuses to be saddled with a man. He's the cowboy who wants her anyway. The last thing Ada Hart needs is a man to take care of her. Not anymore. After failing out of her interior design program and the disaster that was her short-lived marriage, Ada has clawed her way up from rock bottom. Now the only person she trusts is herself, and that has gotten her further than ever before. She has her own business, and one of the largest ranches in Wyoming just hired her for the most important project of her career. When Ada arrives in Meadowlark, she finds herself in a dive bar where she can't seem to shake the eyes of a handsome cowboy. When she leads him to the back of the bar, he leaves her with a kiss that most people would only fantasize about. She almost regrets that she'll never see him again, except it turns out he's her new boss. See, I mean, this is just, it's giving. I feel like this is gonna be really, really good. Weston Ryder is a happy guy, even happier now that the mystery woman from the bar is the interior designer for his dream project on his family's ranch. He feels like he's hit the jackpot. Too bad she wants absolutely nothing to do with him outside of work. Ada is convinced that the pull she feels towards Wes will go away, but Wes can't stop thinking about her, even though walls are coming down around the Rebel Blue Ranch. Ada's walls are firmly in place. Can Ada and Wes make it through this project without giving in, or will they both put their dreams on the line for a chance at love? Again, this is like a super easy read. Like I feel like it's giving like new reader vibes, like the first book at least was. And I feel like the second book is like maybe gonna be similar, but also like a little different, hopefully. Again, I like to give authors like multiple books, multiple chances to like reel me in, because you never know like how an author's writing could change over the years. And like obviously Done and Dusted was her first book. I didn't dislike it. It just was like, it was fine. Like it was 3 stars for me. It was cute, but I just was like, I don't really know if I want to continue the series, because it was like fine. Like, you know, it wasn't anything to write home about. I don't even remember the characters' names, like that kind of thing. But I figured this is the best way to hop into the second book in the series by picking it up in the library, because if I don't like it, I didn't pay any money. So that's what I love about the library so much. And I also love that like we don't have late fees either. Like it is so nice that I just am like not stressing about like returning it like exactly on time or like whatever, because like obviously I do travel a pretty good amount, and I travel sometimes for work and stuff, and like I never bring the book with me, but I always want to read it. And I do also try to return it as soon as possible. Sometimes I'll even return it early, but then there's just sometimes like this last time where I was just out of town back to back to back to back to back. So it's like nice knowing that I don't have to be like stressed about it. But we are gonna head over to I need to go to Barnes and I need to go to Sephora, so we're gonna head over to one or both of those places. I can't decide, it just depends on how much time we have. I give you guys a little haul of what I got before I go over to Barnes. So I got some stuff from Ulta. I really wanted to go to Sephora first, but I didn't realize that like some of the products that I wanted in Sephora are not gonna be in Ulta, but like I needed stuff from there too. I guess I could have went to Sephora, but like Sephora, we don't have like a straight Sephora. It's like in Kohl's, which it's really not that big of a deal, but like walking through a store to get to another store sometimes just takes like that extra step that I do not have the energy for. I ended up getting Pure Skin facial cleanser. I've been using this facial cleanser for years. Love it. It kind of smells like Dove soap, to be honest, so like I could probably use Dove soap, but like I feel like that soap bar, it literally gives me the ick. Like the fact that like my dirty hands are like rubbing on that, and then like I'm rubbing it on my face, like I don't know what it is, it just makes me feel so gross. So the minute that Dove like gets into an applicator, like the same thing as Dove soap, like not like the bar soap, because the Dove that they put in like the applicators there, it's not the same. It doesn't give your face that like kind of gritty feel. You know what I'm talking about? You guys know, if you grew up with Dove soap, you know what I'm talking about. Also got these facial radiance pads. I've been using these for years as well. These are great exfoliators, and I don't exfoliate my skin nearly enough, but anytime I use this, I always feel so good after I use it, because I can see literally the dead skin coming off onto these. And I also see like all the dirt and gunk that I don't get when I wash my face. I also picked up Ways body cream. This one is the St. Bart's smell. It literally smells like summer. I love this, and I've also been using this for years as well. I'm a tried and true girl. Like I use kind of like the same things over and over. These three things were $109. So honestly, I was thinking I would walk over to Sephora and pick up Summer Fridays body cream, but I know that that was going to be another $30. And I'm like, you know what? I already have lotion. Next time I go pick up lotion, I will just order the body cream so I don't have to like go out and get tempted to go into Ulta and Sephora as well. But I love their body cream because it makes my skin feel really soft. But let's head over to Barnes and see what we can pick up there. I'm usually the type to give authors a second chance, but this book right here, I don't think that I'm going to be picking up and bringing home. I feel like I've heard so many people say that this book is not nearly as good as Butcher and Blackbird, and I didn't even really like Butcher and Blackbird. Like I liked how it was like super fast paced and like easy to read, but it was too spicy, too gory, too everything. I don't know. And one of you guys actually in like my last videos, you said you read Leather and Lark and you like weren't obsessed with it. So I take you guys' reviews like to heart. If you don't like something, I feel like I probably won't either. I'm making meals. I just took my ring off because I always take it off whenever I'm like making food. But I'm finishing up dinner because hi babe. Because I'm trying to get it done so that I can like relax a little bit and like watch the sunset before it like really goes down. I used to like go outside right after work and just like watch the sunset first, but then it was always like daunting to come back in and have to like make dinner. So now I've started making dinner first. I also like to meal prep whenever I'm like making dinner. So we're making these little like kava bowls. I don't even really know how to explain it. It's like a bunch of like vegetables and stuff, and then I put smoked sausage in it and like rice and stuff, and then I do the exact same meal for the next day. I cannot tell you how easy this makes like lunches. I used to try to like, I don't know, make all these like, you know, like people like meal prep for like the whole week or whatever. Like I used to think that that was gonna be like how I would meal prep, but I would get so bored like making the same meal over and over. I tried that for like a week and it just did not work for me. So now I just make like the lunch for the next day, and usually I'm not bored of the meal by that time. So yeah, that's like the easiest way for me to make lunches. I'm cutting up onions because that's the last thing that I need to put in there. But hi. Kava bowls, it's already done. Okay. So we can eat in like 5 minutes or whatever you want. Wanna come say hi? Okay. Not even a little bit. Can you popcorn in your mouth for the camera? Yeah, sure. That's not even close. Wow. Oh. This is leftover popcorn for the movie. Oh my God, Brady. That was right on my forehead. Okay, last try. Wow, that was last try. That was it. Didn't make it. Dang, and now there's popcorn all over the floor. But I didn't end up getting anything in Barnes, but I did get a package in the mail, so I'm gonna open that with you guys. I think after I go outside and like watch the sunset, because I know that the package is literally books. And it was very hard not to get something in Barnes, but again, I feel like I've shared with you guys that I'm really trying to get books that I'm only like super excited about. Like if I'm not super excited about it, I genuinely just don't want it. And there's some books I was like, oh, like this could be good, but then I'm like, am I that excited to read it? No, because if I'm not super excited to read it, it'll probably just sit on my shelf. So that has definitely been very hard, but I feel like now all the books that I'm getting in like hauls and stuff, they're all books that I like literally cannot wait to read, and just like over the moon about. So anyway, let me show you guys how the dinner ended up turning out. These are both the meals, and this is how it looks. You can see that there's cucumber in here, there's tomato, there's feta cheese, onions, smoked sausage, peppers, and this is like one of the easiest meals. Like, I love making this in the summertime because I feel like you don't have to really do too much to have a really nice dinner or lunch. And so yeah, you just mix it all together and eat it as is. It's really, really good. I ended up finishing this book and it is so cute. Definitely rating this 4 stars. I wasn't sure if I would rate it like 4.5 or not, but I think we're gonna sit at 4 stars. I mean, don't quote me on that until you see it on Goodreads. Once it's on Goodreads, it's like there for good. I love this book. Like, love this book. There were so many quotable like things. Like, I shared a few quotes on my Instagram stories as I was reading this and like falling in love with the storyline and the characters. I love how Annabelle Monaghan doesn't just write about a love story. Like, she writes about so many other things that like feel so relatable, I feel like, to most of the people who are reading her romances. Like, the main character in this doesn't really have much confidence in herself. She feels like motherhood is all she is. Like, she doesn't feel like she has much else outside of that. She doesn't have confidence to like say her wants and needs and desires. And I feel like that is so like just so like so many of us. I also am sharing an episode. You guys will hear it on Friday on Love You Most Pod. If you guys like follow my podcast, if you didn't know I have a podcast, I do. But I shared so much about things that I've learned in my 20s, and I feel like this book in particular was literally me in so many ways in my 20s. Like, I obviously was not a mother, but I couldn't really vocalize like the things that I wanted, and if someone said something I didn't agree with, I would be like, oh, like, okay. Like, I just didn't want to offend anyone or like make anyone feel like bad, which I don't want to do that now, but I also recognize that like my voice matters, and like my, like, I don't know, my opinion matters, and if it's different than someone else, as long as I'm sharing it in like my opinion in a kind way, like that's fine. Like, we don't all have to like agree. And also like sharing, like, she really struggled to share if she like needed something from someone. She just kind of like went with the like was very go with the flow, and I feel like that is so many of us in so many ways. So I think you'll really enjoy this, especially if you maybe have went through a divorce or went through some type of like shift in your life where you're trying to like build more confidence in yourself, learning to love again, learning to love yourself. Like, this was just really, really good. This is one of my most anticipated reads. It definitely wasn't disappointing in any way, because obviously it's 4 stars, so I really enjoyed it. I do wish there was a little bit more dialogue at the beginning of this. I feel like to really get into the story, it took me like 100 pages, and there's only like 300 and I think 30 pages. So it did take like a little bit to fully get into it, but the quotes in this book are so good. I think I actually, yeah, I like tabbed one of them on 158, and I actually shared this on my Instagram story, but like I'll share it here. He says, you can't just keep doing what you're doing and wait for it to turn into something happy. You kind of have to look for the happy things along the way. And that quote just hit, because like the main character, the like guy main character, he has had so much pressure from his family to be a certain way, to like do certain things, and he still somehow like finds a way to like be joyful. And I feel like that's such a great like message, that even when like the world wants us to be 1,000,001 things that maybe we are not, like we can still find joy in each day. So yeah, really enjoyed that. Also, really liked Dear Vicky. I swear that this author is the best author to read for books when you feel like you're in a book slump. And I don't feel like I'm in a book slump, but when I read Work Husband and immediately was like hooked on the story, finished it in one sitting, I was like, oh yeah, this is gonna be an auto by author. Her stories are wild. Like, when you read them, you're gonna be like, what the frick am I reading? Like, what the frick? What the frickety frack? Like, as I was reading this, I was like, what is this? I feel like it's a mix between like a thriller and a romance, kind of more of a thriller. I guess I'd say that. But like, it's also not thrilling, where you're like thrillers I feel like kind of keep you on the edge of your seat, where you're like, I don't know what's gonna happen. In this, you just know it's gonna be unhinged. Like I'm here for it. And this book was really short. It was only like 81 pages. I also want to give you guys a little book haul. I think I shared this in my last like video that a book haul would be coming. And it was actually in my mailbox when I was doing the other book haul. So I figured I should probably do this book haul while I can, because I knew you guys were looking for it. So there's tons of books in here. Let's start with the first one. The first one is A Little Kissing Between Friends by Shinsia C. Higgins. This is a sapphic romance, and I'm really excited to read it. This book is one that like an author I don't think I've read anything of hers before, but it's a book that I saw in the Rip Bodice when I was in New York, and I wanted to bring it home, but I was like, actually, I already bought it. It's already on the way. Never read anything from this author, so I'm excited to jump into it. It just was released, so I feel like this is gonna be a good one. And then this is like probably one of my most anticipated things that I picked up this year. I picked up the new covers of Natasha Bishop's 3 books. Yes, 3 books. So I already read one of them. I read book 3, which is Where We Found Our Passion, and this is the Lost and Found series. Look at these covers. These are like special edition covers. These are the 3 covers. So this is book 3. This is the one that I read. This is a Friends to Lovers story. Absolutely love her writing. This is the writer who wrote Only for the Week, and her books are literally so bingeable. You'll finish them so fast. And I wanted to have a cover that like really spoke to me. I own the other covers, but I really wanted these covers. So I'm really excited to read the rest of these. This is book 1, Where We Found Our Home. And then this is Where We Found Our Heart. And again, these are some of my most anticipated reads. I have already read Where We Found Our Passion. This one is about 2 best friends, and they both like just literally, I think the guy's name's Kai. Yeah, he's literally a cinnamon roll boy. Like if you like a guy who's like cinnamon rolls, so sweet, like you will love him. So he is best friends with Olivia, and they've been best friends forever. They have feelings for each other when they are younger, and then something pulls them apart. Then they end up reconnecting when they're older because she's playing professional soccer. As you can see, he's like lifting her up. She's playing professional soccer, and he is just like, I need to take care of her because she ends up getting an injury. Now, she doesn't want to be taken care of by him because she was kind of the reason why they like stopped having a thing years ago. And you see why as the story goes on. Such a good story. Again, cinnamon roll boy. Absolutely loved it. And then book 2, Where We Found Our Heart. This says, I had my chance at a family and it was stolen from me. I was told I was a joke, so that's just what I'll be. And then she gives me news that turns my whole life upside down. Nina Williams is my second chance at a family, and she might just be the missing key to my heart. I just need to prove to her I'm not the joke I pretend to be. After the loss, and this says Nina, after the loss of my parents, I'm all my brother and sister have. I'm trying to piece my family back together. I wasn't ready to start a family of my own. One night with Isaiah Cole changed all my plans. He's nothing like I thought he was, and I feel happy in his arms. But happiness isn't built to last. When Isaiah has a chance to complete the family he's always dreamed of, will the family I never knew I wanted be left behind? Looks so good, and her books are so fast-paced. And then this is Where We Found Our Home. It says, I had my chance at love and threw it away. I don't deserve another. I've dedicated my entire life to my community. There's no time for anything else. This is Lincoln saying that. But then I met her. Sierra Jeffries is everything I told myself I didn't want, but she might be everything I need if I can just hold on to her. And then Sierra, if I don't get a hold of this town, I'll lose my sanity. If I don't get out of this town, I'll lose my sanity, my loved ones, and my life. I need a fresh start, and Austin, Texas feels like as good a place as any. I wasn't supposed to build connections, and I definitely wasn't supposed to fall in love. Lincoln Cole has other plans for me. He has been breaking my rules, and I feel safe in his arms. But safety is a luxury I don't have. I thought I ran far enough but my past will never let me go, and my recklessness may just get Lincoln burned. I mean, that's all I need to know. And her books, I think, aren't super long. Yeah, this is 229 pages. And then book 2 is 248 pages. So yeah, these are like fairly short to read. This is 289 pages. So Yeah, you can pick these up on Amazon. She recently re-released them with new covers. They are so freaking cute. The old covers had like people on the front, so I just like didn't really want those. I think I'm gonna give the old covers away, maybe do a free library or something. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hope you guys enjoyed my reviews of these books. I really love both of them. Very different vibes, but still very, very good. And I also hope you guys enjoyed the little haul and all the other parts of this vlog. I've been trying to share like more of my life because so many of you guys are enjoying like just the little bits of my life, like workouts and like all the things, along with like bookish chats and hauls and shopping at the library and book shopping and all of that. So I hope you guys love it as always. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye guys.